Hello, how you doing? Welcome back to day 15. We're on day 15. Let me just move this a little bit that way. Okay, so today, oh, that's getting cold. Hang on, let me finish this. I don't know what it is about cold coffee, but it makes it taste yuck as. Anyway, today I'm talking about my 5 favorite money mindset books right now at this very moment. And I wanted to share them with you, but I also wanted to share pieces out of them that I felt resonated with me and I think will resonate with you too. So let's try and keep it short. Every time I say that though, they never wind up being short. So let's just get started. My first absolute favorite book that I recommend everyone to have is Ask and It Is Given by Abraham Hicks. Now, this puppy right here, this big book, is what I would say basically the OG or the biggest or the best or the manual to understanding the law of attraction. Now, Jerry and Esther Hicks, basically what they do is Jerry isn't here anymore, he passed on, but basically what Esther does is she channels an entity, I guess you would say, called Abraham, who comes from source and shares all of this information. And so this is the information that Abraham Hicks shares. It is a bit weird, like when I first found out about it and I realized that she was like channeling something, I was like, okay, this is right. All right. But the things that she was sharing or he was sharing felt like truth, right? And speaking of what they share, if you're new to law of attraction, if you're new to money mindset, if you're new to trying to understand how energy and vibration and frequency works in your life, this book is amazing for a manual to have for your entire life. But if you're brand new, it's going to be like, there's going to be layers of you understanding what they're talking about. Like, there's stuff that I read 10 years ago that I thought I understood clearly, but I understood it for where I was at the time. And then I read over it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I understand this so much deeper now. So that's what I recommend. So a couple of things that I want to read from here is how she talks about reach for the best feeling thought you have access to. I'm going to say she, even though it's he, but it's her talking, so I'm just going to say she. Reach for the best feeling thought you have access to. So this is like, I thought this was great for whenever we get stuck and we're freaking out and worrying about like money and if it's coming in and how we're going to pay our bills, and we're really like in that frantic scarcity, fear, doubt, worry energy. Here's what to do. And I talk about it all the time, and it's going neutral. So choosing a different thought will always produce a different emotional response. So you could say, I will deliberately choose my thoughts so that I can feel better. And that would be a good decision for you to make. But an even better decision, and really an easier one, to make is, I want to feel good, so I will try to feel good by choosing a thought that does feel good. If it is your decision to follow your bliss and you have been focusing on a life situation that is nowhere near bliss, your decision to follow your bliss would be unsuccessful, because the law of attraction cannot deliver a thought that holds such a dramatic vibrational difference. But if your decision is to reach for the best feeling thought that you have access to, that decision can be easily achieved. This is what I mean about trying to get to neutral, not trying to like go from scarcity to abundance mindset, because that's just way too much of a jump. Just getting to neutral where you're like, is best. The key to moving up the vibrational emotional scale is to be consciously aware, even sensitive to the way that you feel. If you are not aware of how you feel, you can't understand which way you're moving on the scale. But if you take the time to consciously determine the emotion that you are currently experiencing, then any improvement in your feelings means that you are making progress toward your goal. While any intensifying of the negative emotion means that you are going in the wrong direction. Yeah. So a good way to feel your way up the vibrational emotional scale is to always be reaching for the feeling of relief that comes when you release a more resistant thought and replace it with a more allowing thought. The stream of well-being is always flowing through you, and the more you allow it, the better you feel. The more you resist it, the worse that you feel, right? So it's about, yeah, like I say, trying to get neutral when you're feeling freaked out, when you're scared, when you're worried, when you're doubtful, when you're just out of your mind, is to feel the next best feeling thought that you can think of at the time. So if you were stuck in scarcity, if you were stuck in scarcity and you were like freaking out about this bill that was like due in a couple of days, and you wanted to go from this to thinking that this is an abundant universe and I know that I'm going to manifest it, but that felt like too much of a jump, you would talk yourself into a better feeling thought. So your first thought was like, how the fuck am I going to do this? Like, what's happening? I feel like I have to do something drastic. I have to sell something, or I have to, I don't know, work really hard or try and get some money off someone, and it feels like shit to do that. To actually, I'm freaking out right now, but I know that there's a possibility that this could work out, right? So it's not going like, yep, it's all going to work out. It's like, I know that there is a possibility somewhere in whatever parallel realities in the universe that this could work out. I'm willing to try and believe that this is going to work out in my favor, that this is going to, it looks like I have black eyes, that this could turn around for me. It freaks me out. It scares me because I feel like I'm losing control. I feel like I'm giving up my control, but I don't know what else to do. But there is a part of me that believes that something different could happen. And I could use this as an opportunity to shift into a better feeling thought. I could use this opportunity to make myself better. Because what's the alternative? That I feel like shit and then do something that puts me in an even worse vibration so I wind up back at zero? Or take a chance? Okay, well, if I take a chance and I choose to just find the better feelings, what would that look like? And go on from there. And you notice how like you're in a sense like coaching yourself. You're going like back, and then you're going up, and then you're going back and then up, but you're working your way through it to help you get into a place of believing that it can be better, but not going so extreme where it's just unrealistic, right? Where you're just like, nah, I need to go do some masculine action to make it happen, right? So that's how I look at it. That's always how I work through things, and that's what I think Abraham is sharing here. And then also they had a prosperity game that I really liked using. Where is it? Let me see. It was called the Wouldn't It Be Nice If. I saved the wrong one. But basically you say, wouldn't it be nice if you had everything that you wanted? And if I can find this, I should be more prepared. Okay. Wouldn't it be nice if they don't have it in here, I'm gonna cry. Oh yeah, they do. 225. Okay, wouldn't it be nice if? So you would that's another thing about this book, is that they have like all the like material, like teaching material here, but then they have actual tools and games and exercises that you can do depending on what you're trying to manifest, depending on where you are on the vibrational emotional scale. Like if you're feeling scarcity, how to get yourself out of it. There's heaps of different exercises that they have in here, which is great. So the wouldn't it be nice if exercise you would use this process when you find yourself leaning toward the negative and therefore offering resistance, and you want to turn it around to something more positive, or when you are already feeling good and you want to focus more specifically on certain areas of your life to make them even better, and when you want to gently guide a negative or potentially negative conversation to a more positive place for your benefit, or to gently guide someone else. And so basically you just keep asking yourself the question, wouldn't it be nice if? Wouldn't it be nice if we had the best time we ever had with these friends? Wouldn't it be nice if the traffic is light and we have a wonderful trip? Wouldn't it be nice if I had a really productive day at work? Wouldn't it be nice if I find the most spectacular partner who adores me in the same way that I adore him? Wouldn't it be nice if I find someone and we waltz off into the sunset together? Wouldn't it be nice if I stumbled onto something that really worked for me? Wouldn't it be nice if my metabolism began to cooperate with me a little more? Let's see if we've got any like pundits ones. Do-do-do. Wouldn't it be nice if I began feeling a greater inspiration to exercise? Yeah, and you basically ask yourself, wouldn't it be nice to help you transform your feelings? So wouldn't it be nice if I made twice as many sales today as yesterday? Wouldn't it be nice if abundance really was all around? Wouldn't it be nice if I could make consistent money every day? Wouldn't it be nice if my business was booming? You know, like to get you into feeling more like there's more possibility than your current situation. Okay, so that's book one. Shit, that was a lot longer explaining that than I thought. Let's try cut it down. Second book, Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain. Oh, I probably butchered her name. Sorry, Shakti. But this is a book about using the power of imagination to create the life you want, which, as you know, I'm all about my visualization, so this is a fantastic book. Some of the writing is like a bit kind of old worldy, so I'm like, yeah. Anyway, but there's really, really good things in this book, and that she has a lot of visualizations you can do. Like you read through them and then you practice doing them, which I love doing, love trying. But there was this part about, she was talking about being, doing, and having, and she said, often people attempt to live their lives backwards. They try to have more things or more money in order to do more of what they want so that they will be happier. The way it actually works is the reverse. You must first be who you really are, then do what you need to do in order to have what you want. The purpose of creative visualization is to connect us with our being, to help us focus and facilitate our doing, to deepen, expand, and align our having. The three necessary elements to successfully creatively visualize and it work for you is desire. You must have a true desire to have or create that which you have chosen to visualize. Ask yourself, do I truly in my heart desire this goal to be realized? The second thing you need is belief. The more you believe in your chosen goal and the possibility of attaining it, the more certain you will be to do so. Ask yourself, do I believe that this goal can exist? And do I believe that it is possible for me to realize or attain it? And the third thing is you need acceptance. You must be willing to accept and have that which you are seeking. Sometimes we pursue goals without actually wanting to attain them. We are more comfortable with the process of pursuing. Ask yourself, am I really completely willing to have this? Now, if you did my visualization workshop a couple months ago, you will remember when I said only put the things on your your vision board that speaks to your heart, that feels like you are taking a piece of your heart out and putting it onto your vision board, right? The things that you truly desire, you truly crave. Because we want a lot of things, but our heart doesn't truly desire them. We just want them because we need it, it would be cool or whatever, right? But when it comes to visualizing, for me, I found unless I truly, truly, truly desire it, it doesn't manifest as quickly. But if I'm like lined up, and I think Joe Dispenza calls this, it's not congruence, coherence. It's where everything lines up, where your desire lines up with your mind and your heart. They're in coherence with each other, right? And that creates complete, direct focus to manifesting what you want. That's what it is. That's essentially what you're doing. You're creating coherence. And you do that, you manifest shit like that. But if it's something that you don't necessarily want, or you haven't fully gotten behind yet, doesn't mean it won't manifest. It just means it's going to take some time to practice getting behind the true desire of having it, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Like in here, she says, the clearer and stronger your intention, the more quickly and easily your creative visualization will work. In any given situation, ask yourself about the condition of your intention. If it is weak or uncertain, look more deeply to see what your doubts, fears, conflicts, or concerns may be. Sometimes your hesitations may be an indication of feelings and beliefs that need to be acknowledged and healed. In some cases, hesitation may be an indication that it is not truly an appropriate goal for you. And so another thing I'll say on that is that when I experience this in my visualizations or when I'm desiring things, and it comes up still even now, is when you think of something that you want, right? And you think of having it and you're trying to live in the energy of having it now, feel the feelings of it. It's already here. It's been here for a while. There's this part, I don't know if you experience this, but there's this part in me where it feels like there's a disconnect, or it feels like not real or not attainable, or like it's an off energy. It feels there's like a disconnect there. And so I always look at that when I can't get behind it, when something feels off, when I'm trying to visualize something and it almost feels bad. I use that as an opportunity to journal out what I'm actually feeling, because when I do that, I discover like what's actually really under there, like why I'm feeling that way, what is my fear, what is coming out, why do I feel like I can't attain this, why do I feel like it's bad, or I don't want it, or disconnected to it. And sometimes I realize I don't really want it, and sometimes I realize that there's a deeper fear that I have about something, whether it's related or completely unrelated to why I'm feeling that way. But it's always really good to find out where you're at, because a lot of the times just figuring it out helps you clear it, and then it becomes easy to get behind it and visualize it, right? So creative visualization, check it out. Next one, second one, The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, yeah, The Magic. I'm sure you've heard of this book. Now, I like this book to a point. There's some things I don't like about this book, but I like it because it helps you get into a gratitude practice, right? And it gives you prompts every day on what to be grateful for. Because if you're not naturally a grateful person, or you haven't practiced gratitude, or you didn't grow up with it, like say prayer is an example. When I was growing up, my grandmother, she was very spiritual, and we would always pray at night at the end of the bed, and we would just say what we were thankful for. So I understood what gratitude practice was. In some cases it's prayer. But if you've never had that, if you've never done it, this is a really great book to help you prompt your brain to think of things that you're grateful for, because sometimes it's shit, like you can't think of things that you're grateful for right now because life might not be that right. And yeah, it gives you like just different things, all things, it covers all aspects. So what I want to read you is day 5, which is about money, being grateful for money. However, there's some things I don't agree in what she says here, but let me read it to you anyway. If there's a lack of money in your life, understand that feeling worried, envious, jealous, disappointed, discouraged, doubtful, or fearful about money can never bring money to you, because those feelings come from a lack of gratitude for the money you have. Complaining about money, arguing about money, getting frustrated about money, being critical of the cost of something, or making someone else feel bad about money are not acts of gratitude, and the money in your life can never improve. It will worsen. I don't agree with this. I feel like this is like condemnation. I feel like this is just absolute shit. I've been ungrateful in my life and still manifested money. Like, I understand where she's trying to go with this, but that's not the right way to word it. But what she says here, feeling grateful for money when you have very little is challenging. But when you understand that nothing will change until you're grateful, you will be inspired to do it. Things will change when you're grateful. Absolutely. Your life will transform when you feel true gratitude for things. But just because you're not grateful doesn't mean that you're not going to manifest that it's like, oh, if you're not grateful for your dinner, you're never going to have more dinner ever again. I don't like that. You can absolutely manifest even if you're not grateful. But because you don't have the practice of that, this is what I feel where she might have been going. Because you don't have the practice of it, you might not allow yourself to feel grateful for it, or it might manifest in ways that don't feel that great, or it's just a little bit, it's just, you can't milk it for all it is when you receive something amazing. You can't milk it and be like so amazingly overjoyed about having it because you haven't practiced the act of gratitude. Maybe that's where she's going, I'm not sure. But she talks about like ways to feel gratitude for things that money has brought you in your life. If you can't think of that now, if your money situation is not that great right now, like always having food to eat, living in a home, receiving an education, if you got to travel to school, if you had school books, lunches, and things you needed for school, any vacations you might have gone on, birthday gifts you might have received, if you got a bike or toys or a pet, if you had clothes on your back, if you got to go to the movies or play sports or play a musical instrument or pursue a hobby, if you went to the doctor, like if your parents could take you to the doctor, if you got to go to the dentist, though I hate the dentist, I will never be grateful for the dentist. Yeah, and just like little like really basic human needs, if they were met, like to be like practice feeling grateful for that. And like if you have been watching these live streams over the last couple of days, like the other day when I talked about the Mexican guy I lived with, and when I threw away the lettuce and came home and he was eating it, and he told me about how he used to be starving every day and he would go through rubbish bins, trash cans looking for food. I've never had to do that. I've never had that problem, so it helped me, it humbled me a lot. But yeah, the magic, I would use it for the prompts, but I don't know, I feel like some of the ways that she words it, there's a lot of like condemning and judgment there. Don't pay attention to that, just use the prompts that she gives you. That's just my take on it. Other people might disagree, but we'll see. All right, fourth book is, I'm gonna do this one, is Creating Money. Now this is probably my favorite book, and I only found it this year, but my mom has had it for years. It's like from the 80s, and I never saw it in her bookshelf until now, this year. And it's an amazing book. It's like everything I wanted to learn about law of attraction. I wish I read this book first. And so I'm going to read a chapter about giving and receiving, because I really liked the author is Sanaya Roman. Sanaya, these names, man, hopefully I pronounced that right. But yeah, she talks about giving and receiving in this chapter, and I wanted to speak to the people who find it difficult to receive from people, or feel like if they get money for their products, or if they receive something that someone else goes without, right? So she says, don't see it as selfish for you to receive. See it as the completion of the circle of energy. The more you open to receive, the more you can give. Receive money from people, receive the form and substance of what they give you, and do so with warmth and graciousness. And then imagine 10 times the amount of money someone gives you coming back to them every single time. I loved this. I was like, this is such an abundant way to receive. That if someone gives you something, you imagine it coming back to them 10 times. That's awesome. As you envision success for other people, you increase your own magnetism and prosperity. No, your own magnetism to prosperity. Be open to receiving with gratitude and grace. If you receive a check for $10, thank the universe for it rather than thinking this is not enough. How many times have we done that? When we've received money, we're like, this is not enough. Shit. And so many people receive money and say, I don't know how I'm going to make this last. I wish I had received more. They take the amount and make it less, and less will come next time. If you receive money with an image of more coming, with a feeling of joy and thanks, you create more ways for the universe to give you prosperity. So this is going off like the gratitude thing from the past. is gratitude naturally puts you in the frequency of receiving, of receptivity, right? Because it's it's the highest feeling point to receive. It literally is. Like Joe Dispenza talks about it, and you emit like a 3-meter radius of pure receptive energy, right? So it's like a science thing. Go check out Joe if you want to learn more about that. But it puts you in a state of receiving. That's what I forgot to say for the magic, is being grateful puts you in a state of receiving. So if you can get into the practice of gratitude or prayer, just being grateful for things. And it doesn't hurt to be grateful. Like, I'm grateful for my mom every day. I'm so grateful for that. And it can be as simple as that one little thing that you're grateful for, and feel the love in your heart, because it opens up, and it opens you up to receiving. And oh man, lots of magic will happen in your life. What else did I want to read? Oh, be open to receiving from any source that honors your integrity, and be willing to get what you have asked for. Sometimes people look for hidden strings or for the flaws in what they are receiving. So imagine that you're looking for a used car, and you decide to create a beautiful car at a very affordable price, a car that has little mileage on it and is in excellent condition. You get so clear on the essence of what you want and start magnetizing the car. Then one day you find a car that meets all of your conditions and costs even less than you imagined, and rather than being pleased because it seems so perfect, some of you wonder if something is wrong. Trust your ability to create something ideal. Affirm your power to create what you want. As you master the process of manifesting, you will receive things that seem too good to be true. But enjoy what you could create, and then imagine more coming back out to the universe. Yeah, so I know a lot of people have problems with receiving and problems with accepting money and accepting things that do feel good, too good. And like there's a whole other stuff that needs to be worked on there, like worthiness and all that. But if you can get into the attitude of like anything that comes to you goes back out into the universe, goes back to the person, the company, the business, the place, the environment 10 times, it helps you move through that fear. Okay, last book. See, I said this was going to be short, and it's wound up probably being the longest live stream I've ever done. Get Rich Lucky Bitch by Denise Duffield-Thomas. Of course I would have this book. I love Denise. You know I love Denise. I stalk her all over the world. It's probably not the right word to say, but I have followed her across the globe. And this is, it's a fantastic book. Like, Get Rich Lucky Bitch. It's a really practical guide to manifesting money. Like, if you're someone who loves doing like exercises and tools and checklists and all that, check out Denise's book. It's really good. This is the old version. She has a new updated version now, but I have the older one. And she talks about the be, do, have exercise, which I think is great for goal setting, especially if you're not 100% clear on what you want. So you just basically write a list of everything you want to be, everything you want to do, and everything you want to have. And what did she say? She said, as you do this exercise, imagine that you have a magic pen and that everything you write on paper is going to come true in the next 6 months, right? So imagine that. And then I want to share this part about creating your upgrade plan, because what you can, like a practical way you can close the gap between you and your desires is to start incrementally upgrading the things that you have now to the things that you want. That doesn't mean go out and become broke and like spend all your money on the things that you want now or get yourself into more debt. That's not what it is at all. What it is helping yourself close the gap incrementally by having the things that you want that help you feel better or feel closer to that goal. Here's an example. But those things, they might not necessarily be more expensive things. They could be downgrading. Like it could be if you have too many clothes or too many, what do you call it? Like kitchen utensils. It could be getting rid of them because you have too many, right? That could be upgrading, could actually be having less. Or getting things that are actually cheap, but make you feel rich. Here's an example. I went to Kmart the other day. Kmart in New Zealand and Australia is like amazing. It's like it's like New Zealand's Target, I guess you would say. And I bought this notebook, right? I love it. I fell in love with it. I was like, oh my God, I have to have it. It was $4. $4, and this makes me feel like I'm a millionaire. I went to other stationery shops like Kiki K, Typo. Their notebooks are like $20, $40 plus. Didn't like any of them. But my $4 notebook makes me feel rich. So, that's what I mean, upgrade. Not getting into debt. Okay, so here's the last thing that I want to say that she says in her chapter, Denise. Where am I? Okay, I'm just asking you to add what you'd like in your life if money wasn't an issue. If you had the choice, what would you choose? Sometimes the upgrade is actually a downgrade. It's about making your life simpler, more pleasurable, and less stressful. It's also much more real. You might not see yourself as someone who wants a private jet, but what class would you like to fly on the plane? Premium economy to start with? There is no right or wrong answer. Your idea of first class might evolve over time. It might get more extravagant. It might actually get simpler. When you have a juicy list of first class items, make a list of everything in your life that's the complete opposite of this list. Anything that annoys you, embarrasses you, makes you feel poor, or is more like economy class. Then you simply pick one thing at a time and upgrade it to the very next level. Just a teeny tiny bit so you don't freak out. Say your idea of first class underwear is La Perla. No idea what that is. But in reality, you're wearing 5-year-old granny panties from Target. You will probably freak out if I told you to get your dingy covered ass to La Perla and splash out a couple of $100 on a set of frilly lingerie. It would feel too scary or frivolous. It could cause you to spiral into your own personal brand of sabotage, and you'd probably regret spending the money. Plus, it's only a pair of undies, so you'd still have to keep your skanky panties for the days your special new pants are getting washed. It won't make that much of a noticeable difference in your life. But instead of making a massive leap that you don't feel ready for, go for a tiny upgrade. Choose the next best upgrade from Target. Okay? So, it doesn't have to be that big, huge jump. It can be just the next thing. Like, you don't have to go from an iPhone 8 to an iPhone 10. You could go to a iPhone 8 Plus if you wanted, you know? Or just keep your phone and get it fixed or something, right? But yeah, she says, like, write a list of the things that you want to upgrade and then slowly upgrade it over time, and that helps you close the gap. It's just one way that helps you close the gap. But yeah, that's it. Those are my 5 current favorite money mindset books that will help you change your life, that have changed mine. I hope you liked that really long ass explanation of them, and I hope you learned something. And if you did, share your thoughts and feedback down here in the comments. I would love that if you could. I like talking to you guys. It helps tell me that I'm sharing the right kind of information for you, so it'd be good. Any feedback is good. And also, if there is someone that you think would benefit from listening to this episode, live recording, please share this with them. And other than that, as per usual, I will see you tomorrow. Bye!